Have you ever wondered why some men, who aren't even the best looking or the richest, seem to have women completely captivated by them? Why is it that she leans in when he speaks, respects him without question, and seems to fall harder the less he tries? It's not a trick. It's not game. It's a power very few men understand. Emotional authority. When most men hear the word authority, they think control. They imagine dominance, rigid rules, or having the last word. But what truly ignites female desire isn't a man who controls. It's a man who can contain. And that's a powerful distinction. You see, women are emotional creatures by nature, not in a weak way, but in the most beautiful, intuitive, and responsive way. They feel everything more deeply, more frequently, and often more chaotically than men do. What they long for, what they're instinctively drawn to, is a man who doesn't get swept away by their emotional tides. This is where emotional authority becomes magnetic. It's the quiet strength of a man who can witness a woman's emotions, her confusion, her outbursts, even her tears, and not flinch. He doesn't try to fix her, doesn't try to silence her, and definitely doesn't emotionally spiral with her. He remains steady, present, grounded. That steadiness isn't just comforting, it's deeply attractive. It says to her, you can be fully yourself around me, and I won't lose control. And here's the part no one tells you. A woman will test that authority. She might raise her voice, act distant, or even become cold. Not to destroy the relationship, but to find its strength. She wants to know, is this man stable enough to handle all of me? And if you flinch, argue back, or try to dominate, you lose that quiet power. But if you remain calm, hold your ground with grace, and respond instead of reacting, she'll feel something that's rare for her: emotional safety. You can't fake emotional authority. It comes from a man who has done the work, who knows who he is, who doesn't need to prove anything, and who doesn't rely on her mood to regulate his own. And once a woman feels that kind of presence in a man, she will open to him in ways that no words can describe. Her guard will drop, her heart will soften, her desire will grow. Not out of need, but out of deep admiration and trust. That kind of connection, that's where the real intimacy begins. Let me tell you something most men get completely wrong. And it's the very thing that pushes women away, even when your intentions are good. The moment you start chasing her, trying to prove your worth, trying to convince her to like you, you've already lost your power. Not because she doesn't want you, but because the energy of pursuit can often come from a place of lack, and she can feel that instantly. You see, a woman doesn't want to feel like just another target, one of many you're trying to win over. She doesn't want to feel like you're chasing her because you don't believe you're enough on your own. What she deeply desires, though she might never say this out loud, is to be chosen. Chosen specifically, intentionally, and from a place of abundance, not desperation. When a man chooses her from a place of confidence, without the need to chase or beg, that's when her attraction begins to build. Think about this. Chasing is about convincing. Choosing is about valuing. When you choose her, it's not because you're desperate for any female attention. It's because you've seen her, really seen her, and made a powerful decision. You're not trying to impress her every second. You're simply allowing your presence, your energy, and your purpose to speak for you. And you let her come to you slowly, naturally. That shift alone changes everything. Women have an incredibly sharp emotional radar. They can sense when a man is operating from fear, the fear of losing her, the fear of not being enough, the fear of being alone. And no matter how nice or persistent you are, if your energy carries neediness, she'll pull away. Not because she doesn't like you, but because the chase makes her feel more like a prize to be won than a person to be seen. But when you stand in your value, when you're not afraid to walk away if the energy isn't right, when you show that your life is full, with or without her, that's when something powerful happens. She begins to lean in. She starts wondering why you're so composed, why you're not scrambling for her attention like everyone else. That mystery draws her in deeper than any compliment ever could. The truth is, women are not as complicated as we make them out to be. They simply want to feel chosen, respected, and safe. They want to know you see their uniqueness, and that your interest in them isn't built on fantasy or scarcity, but clarity. So stop chasing. Stand still in your power. Let her feel the quiet strength of a man who knows what he wants, but doesn't need to run after it to prove anything. The ones who are meant to stay always come closer when you move with purpose, not pressure. You know what really makes a woman stop in her tracks? What makes her see a man differently, even if he's not the tallest, richest, or most attractive in the room? It's not what he wears. It's not the car he drives. It's not even how smooth his words are. It's his energy, his sense of direction, his conviction, the way he carries himself, like he's here for something bigger than just chasing attention. That's the kind of confidence that makes her pause. That's the kind of man that lingers in her mind. Because here's what a lot of men don't realize. Women are not just drawn to boldness, they're drawn to purpose. Confidence without purpose is loud, unstable, and often fake. It tries too hard. But when confidence comes from clarity, when a man knows who he is, what he's building, and where he's going, that kind of confidence doesn't need to shout. It speaks silently, and she hears it. That's the man she trusts, that's the man she respects, and that's the man who stirs something deep inside her. You can't fake that kind of presence. It's not in your cologne or the script you rehearse before you talk to her. It's in the way you walk into a room and don't feel the need to prove anything. It's in the way you can listen without needing to dominate. It's in the way you can say no without apologizing. When a man is rooted in who he is and what he's becoming, it makes a woman feel safe, not just physically, but emotionally. And that's the kind of safety that awakens true desire. She doesn't want a man who constantly seeks approval. She wants a man who already approves of himself, who stands by his values, whether she agrees or not, who is unshaken by her moods because his emotional stability doesn't depend on her reactions. And that kind of internal strength, it's rare, it's subtle, but it's unforgettable. The irony is, the more you center your life around your purpose, the more women will be magnetized toward you. Not because you're trying to impress them, but because your energy becomes deeply attractive. They sense the difference. You stop needing validation and start becoming the kind of man who naturally commands respect. And when that respect turns into admiration, desire follows. So don't build confidence on compliments, build it on discipline, build it on self-respect, build it on vision. Because the man who knows where he's going never has to chase her, and that's exactly why she'll want to follow. Have you ever wondered why a woman starts to pull away even when you're doing everything right? You're attentive, you're available, you agree with everything she says, and still something shifts? She seems less intrigued, less connected. You think being nice will keep her, but it doesn't. The truth is, being too easy, too agreeable, too predictable, it kills attraction. What she's secretly craving, though she'll never say it out loud, is emotional challenge. You see, women don't fall for men who make everything effortless. They fall for the man who keeps their minds stimulated and their emotions on edge, not in a toxic way, but in a dynamic, powerful way. She doesn't want someone who nods along with everything she says. That's not chemistry, that's comfort. And comfort over time turns into boredom. She wants to feel your strength, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. She wants to know you can stand your ground even when it's uncomfortable. That's why women test men, not to be difficult or dramatic, but to feel your core. She wants to feel the edges of your strength. Can you challenge her without being disrespectful? Can you disagree without being defensive? Can you hold space for her emotional intensity without collapsing or running away? If you can, you instantly become unforgettable because now she's dealing with a man, not a boy trying to please her. There's something incredibly attractive about a man who doesn't fold under pressure, who can say, I hear you, but I see it differently. That kind of man triggers her curiosity. It makes her feel alive. It draws her back in because he's showing her he's not afraid to be himself. And that creates a deep emotional polarity, one that can't be forced or faked. It's the invisible tension that keeps her thinking about you long after the conversation ends. And let's be clear, emotional challenge doesn't mean creating drama. It's not about playing games. It's about maintaining your integrity. It's about being honest even when it's risky. It's about not molding yourself to fit her expectations, but allowing your authentic self to be seen. That kind of boldness is rare. And in a world full of men trying to impress women by agreeing with everything, the one who challenges her respectfully becomes unforgettable. A woman wants to grow, to be expanded emotionally, to be inspired, to think deeper, and only a man who holds his own truth can give her that experience. That's the man she respects. That's the man she feels safe to unravel with. That's the man who stirs her in ways she won't even understand. Because emotional challenge isn't friction, it's attraction in its most raw, powerful form. And once she feels that, she won't be able to forget it. Most men are so focused on saying the right thing, doing the right thing, or impressing her with effort that they forget one simple truth. What she really wants is to feel like a woman in your presence. And no, that doesn't mean she wants you to pamper her endlessly or tiptoe around her emotions. It means she wants to relax into her femininity fully and unapologetically, because your masculine energy gives her the safety to do so. There's something powerful that happens when a man walks in a room with grounded, calm, unwavering energy. Not loud, not over the top, just present. The kind of presence that doesn't seek attention but commands it. Women notice. They don't just look, they feel. And in that presence, they begin to soften. Their guard lowers. They begin to surrender, not because you forced them to, but because your energy gave them permission to stop leading, stop proving, stop protecting. That's when she starts to feel like a woman. You have to understand, so many women spend their day in masculine energy, making decisions, handling stress, being logical, leading, competing, and it wears them out. But when she's around a man who brings stillness, certainty, direction, and emotional control, something inside her shifts. She doesn't have to be strong anymore. She doesn't have to figure everything out. She doesn't have to be in control. She can feel again. And that shift, that's the space where intimacy is born. Most men overlook this. They think women want words, compliments, gifts. But none of that matters if your energy doesn't make her feel more like herself. Feminine energy is fluid, expressive, emotional, sensual, and it naturally craves to be in the presence of a masculine counterpart that is steady, sure, and unapologetically grounded in who he is. Not controlling, not cold, just certain, just calm, just clear. You don't make her feel feminine by dominating her. You do it by standing so firmly in your masculinity that she feels free to open up. You don't have to chase. You don't have to impress. All you have to do is lead with clarity, hold space when she's emotional, and show her through your actions and your energy that she can trust you to handle the moments that feel too heavy for her. That's when she begins to blossom. That's when her softness starts to show. That's when she wants to give you more than just her body. She wants to give you her soul. If she doesn't feel like a woman around you, she'll never fully give herself to you. But if she does, she'll fall in ways even she can't explain. Let me tell you a secret that most men never hear. It's not the guy with a sharp jawline, six-pack, or perfect smile that stays on her mind. It's the one she can't quite figure out. The one who says less, but whose energy says more. The one who feels like a puzzle she wants to solve. That man, the one who moves with quiet confidence, who doesn't reveal everything at once, is the man who becomes unforgettable, because mystery combined with presence is more seductive than anything money or looks can buy. We live in a world obsessed with exposure. Everything is on display. Everyone is trying to be seen, liked, validated. But that's exactly why a man who doesn't play that game becomes magnetic. When you're not constantly explaining yourself, oversharing your feelings, or broadcasting your every move, you stand out. You create curiosity. And that curiosity draws her in more deeply than charm ever could. Women are intuitive. They feel subtleties. They listen to silence just as much as they hear your words. So when your presence is strong, when you walk into a room and simply are, without seeking approval, that's when you become desirable on a whole new level. You don't need to be loud. You don't need to announce your worth. She picks it up in the way you carry yourself, and she'll lean in because she wants to know more. But it's not just mystery that captivates her. It's your presence. Real, grounded, intentional presence. Being fully in the moment, looking her in the eyes without distraction, listening without rushing to respond, feeling without fear of vulnerability. Most men are physically there but mentally scattered. A man who is fully present, that's rare. And when a woman feels that level of attention from you, she feels seen, not just noticed, seen. And when she feels seen, her heart opens. This is why men who cultivate depth become unforgettable. It's not about playing hard to get, it's about being hard to reach emotionally. Not because you're guarded, but because you're selective. You don't share everything with everyone. You hold a little back. You let people earn your story. You move with calm restraint. And that tension, that subtle resistance, is what keeps her thinking, wondering, wanting more. Looks fade, words get forgotten, but a man who can hold her attention without even trying, that's the one who stays in her dreams, because mystery and presence together create an experience no woman can ignore.